everyone? Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 13th Rookie Season 4 episode review. It's gonna be a while because, well, if you're unaware, right now we are doing Rookie, Walker, and Nancy Drew reviews each and every week still, but at least until the end of this month, the live content the live recording I'm doing is over. Rookie's on break until 27th. Before you even ask, like this episode wasn't a big story-driven episode in terms of like there's like actual character growth and a major front. That's not happening this week. Walker is on hiatus until March, and Nancy Drew is over for now. So that means, yeah, we're not doing any live content anymore, at least for the month, which is obviously great news because we're also about to kickstart a brand new channel next week called The Collection Compass. So I need all the time I can get on that front, as well as, you know, we still have tons of What's the Tubes to produce we got you Doctor Who's, we got your quick impression, got your first impressions, got the Nancy Drew wrap-up covered. There's a lot to do, so it was great for me not to be constricted by a timetable anymore. And don't get me wrong, I still love doing these the day after or a couple days after, like in the Rookie's case tonight. But still, I'm very happy that we get a little bit of a break, because even though like it's only been a month since the new year started, but it's already felt like a long ass time already. So I'm a little happy. Gives us a little bit more time, and as well as, you know, you get to enjoy and the even more quality content. So you'll see that soon. But this week on the Rookie, it was again like I'm still not surprised by the promos. Do not give these episodes enough credit where there's enough in the layers, there's enough in the promotion, like you get confused or you get told that this is how the episode is going to be portrayed, and then when you see it, it is almost, but it's not. It's a little bit different, so to speak. With this one, it being like a helicopter, I thought it was going to be a helicopter chase in the air. That was only even a fraction of the story. There was a lot more to cover, and I don't even think the helicopter story, like the one that we knew about going into this week, it was important, but it wasn't like, I think there was a couple other storylines that kind of like, they each had their own merit, so to speak. This kind of felt like heartwarming. There was obviously your comedic one, and then also there was your actual hard-hitting, you know, debatable fact of the day. So, with that being said, let's just go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. Also, I do apologize if I am actually a day late on this one, because I had a Lunar New Year's Friends thing to do on Sunday night, and I was like, you know what, I need this, so I went, and sadly I didn't come back till late, and by the time I came back, I'm like, yeah, there's absolutely no way I'm gonna knock out the episode and do the review all after midnight, so I'm like, definitely not, I'll wait till the next day, so don't worry about that. Anyway, moving onwards. So we begin with Nolan. I want to say we begin with Nolan heading into the office for the day, and yeah, he does. He runs into a kid who's delivering supposedly some coffee for his dad, and Nolan's like, no visitors, like through at least the garage entrance. And he's like, well, I didn't know that rule, so can you excuse me? And he gives a fake name of a police officer so that Nolan kind of like, Nolan's a nice guy. He doesn't really double check much, so he just lets him through onto the private elevator and just asks him some questions like, you know, about your dad and, you know, that sort of thing. He gives some sort of excuse that they're divorced, and then Nolan, obviously being a divorced parent, kind of gives him some little friendly advice sort of about that sort of feeling. And I was actually like, it was so sweet because like the kid actually gives him a hug after they're about to leave. Like, oh, like I didn't know. I knew, I kind of figured that was the kid who's gonna steal the helicopter. But I'm like, oh, that was kind of nice. And then once Nolan changes it, everyone's just in like panic mode because like someone took a police helicopter, and Gray just shows up and like, so who's the kid, Nolan? And just shows him hugging the kid, and I was like, no, you really got, there's such a thing about being too much of a nice guy. There is such a thing. Sadly, you're one of them, but don't change, Nolan. Never change. So yeah, they're trying to do as much as, thankfully Nolan's not getting thrown into the ringer for this one. He's not getting in trouble. Mostly it's just a simple mistake. Nothing really more he could do about that. He just couldn't really identify him that much. So now the attention is, we got to ID the kid. We need to figure out what the motive is, what the parents are up to, you know, figuring out the background of this kid. So Nolan, being responsible for this, is put on the case, and Shen decides to help out because Bradford is helping out Lopez on another matter relating to a home invasion discovery. So they're off on that. We finally get New Rook / Aaron, I believe, I think it's New Rook. No, he has another name. I already forget. I apologize. That's the problem when you have like an actor or a character just pop in more out of sync because you don't want to showcase the rookie stuff again, so you cut him out. So it's kind of hard. He's back after shooting his reality show, which I'm like, I completely forgot that was a thing. And I thought this was the episode where we're finally going to get that reality show stomp. I'm like, they would have promoted it in the episode. So I'm like, definitely not. No, they're not doing that. So there's three of them, three storylines this week. So I was like very happy at the selection up here, but we're going to go through the helicopter first. So they're on the move. They're trying to get in contact with the helicopter kid. He doesn't really respond to anyone except to Nolan. No one ever likes anyone else except Nolan. This is the common fact. You just let Nolan talk to them right away. For some reason, Nolan's just comfortable. He's just someone you want to talk to. And I would love to talk to Nolan. I would love to talk to Nathan Fillion someday. I would love to. He seems like a cool dude. Picking up words. I want to say they keep going. They're driving around. They're trying to appease him to kind of come down the ground. And it's not working at first. And then we get some very weird video game bonding between them when Nolan just draws. I played Breath of the Wild like a few years back. I'm like, look, I don't know if Nolan was... Look, I don't know. I really don't know. Did Nolan actually play Breath of the Wild? I really don't know. Maybe he is a closet gamer. Who really knows? I mean, we rarely see him with a Switch. And, you know, at least they name dropping this does confirm that, yeah, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is canon in the Rookie universe, which is amazing for me to think about. But, they kind of bond towards that. It could have just been a ploy, but then this kid decides to let Nolan and it's like, you know what? I will drop the helicopter if you finish 3 quests in my honor. I was like, brah. 3 quests? What is this, a video game? Maybe it is. Who knows? Or it could be the whole Matrix simulation. Who knows? So he gives him some quests. The first quest is some backstory aside. There was this high school abandoned house hangout where they used to go, you know, do drugs, have sex, you know, the teenage stuff you really can't do, like in And then, which also I never understood the joy of it. And I'm going to be admitful this. I don't think I've ever told this story on a podcast anywhere or just any other content. But back when I was in high school, now I wasn't like this as a high school. I was just invited to a couple times. There was an abandoned warehouse where I live currently. And one of my friends, when he was still living here, he invited me over with a couple of his friends to go do some stuff. I won't admit what, just to not put it on the record. But I'll just say, like, this is just kind of the scenario of, like, it's an abandoned place, and I looked around, and I'm like, look, I know that, you know, mostly it's, like, parents will, like, I don't know, at least that was in my generation, I don't know how it is now, that obviously parents will not approve of their children are having sex, you know, around the 14th, 15th. Obviously, it's, for most parents, they're against it, but, of course, obviously, these teenagers, they're horny, they're gonna go buck wild, but the thing about that is, like, you know, you would find any opportunity to go do it with your partner. And in that case, like, seeing that environment, I'm like, brah, even if I was even thinking about doing that with anyone, if anyone would allow me to, I would be like, I'm not doing it in this disgusting ass place. Like, everything is filthy. It's grimy. So when we go into this abandoned house, and I'm like, it could have been pre the adults coming in or you know, something of that sort. But I'm like, I wouldn't even trust to even open a bottle of water here. I just don't trust the air at all. But they find the house, they go in, they already find someone already there, they corner him, they find a guy or a girl. I don't know what, I didn't really get a good shot of him, a shot of them, but they OD'd or they're like really high on something, so they call in like the paramedics to go take them away so they can go get some help. So the first quest is over. All of the guys of like, an old classmate of mine OD'd in this house, so you're not going to be able to save her, but you can still avenge her by taking down the person who's dealing the drugs out of this place. But meanwhile, his story is kind of already falling from the cracks since Gray calls in the parents, the parent and guardian of this kid. The mother specifically, and yeah, he's had a pretty difficult couple of years, let's just say that. His dad passed away, and his mom, well, we'll find out later, she relapsed on drugs, and her current boyfriend is kind of looks like a sus dealer. Like, I'm just being honest there. That's kind of like the vibe I get off. And he's had a hard time. He's has not been much of a committed person in school, that he got kicked out of it. So he's been homeschooled. But even the mom has her own patient limits, and she eventually just couldn't keep up with the demand of homeschooling him. So he's kind of fallen into this crack of fantasy and video games and that sort of nonsense. So this being the case, like, he's not a bad kid, but he's just someone you really wouldn't leave alone to his own devices. Their second quest off screen is to tackle on a drug supplier, I guess, and his many dogs. And I'm like, that would have been a hilarious scene to see, but we didn't get to see that because apparently aggressive dogs not allowed outside the rookie. So that was a bummer. So after they complete the second task, they assume that, okay, what's the third task? Let's get this out of the way. He's like, nah, I'm gonna hold you off on that. I'm gonna hold you off on that. And, you know, they leave it there for now. But they come back a little later. Nolan actually does get to connect with him a little bit. And he does admit that the reason kind of like what his path is on is like, yeah, his dad passed away a couple years ago. So he's had to go for a rough time. And his mom was dependent on drugs before his dad died. Well, no, a long time ago. So his mom relapsed for a bit. Thankfully, he was there for her, and she managed to kind of get back straight line, so to speak. But then she got her new boyfriend, who's kind of in the drug trading business. So it's not healthy for her to be around this type of person, and she's kind of been feeling different since she's been dating him. So the final task for Nolan and Chen to do is to get rid of him. But obviously, of course, like, yeah, a lot of kids would be very against the people that their parents would now be dating after something happens that their original partner isn't there anymore. Like, you're gonna have that that uncomfortability. But the kid's homeschooled, so he's home a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if he and this boyfriend of the mother like would be at odds with each other. Especially he would know and be around, like, seeing like, oh, he is dealing with drugs, but his mom wouldn't believe him. So I'm not surprised on that front. I believe, yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah. So they start to figure out, okay, what is the connection here? Is there any sort of line here? And I don't remember how they do this. I think they find another. Oh yeah, they talk to the second dude. Gray manages to convince him that, like, look, if you give us some information, we're gonna let Cupcake go, like your dog. You know, the bring her back to your care. He spelled like a canary. So yeah, the kid's mother's boyfriend is involved in drugs. So they use that enough. That's enough to kind of get him convicted and kind of get him arrested. So, but that happens off screen, I believe. And once he hears the good news, once he sees like it going down, he's like so happy. The problem is he's been in the air for so damn long that he's out of gas. So I was like, damn. Yeah, there's absolutely no way no one's going to fly himself out of the situation. So thankfully, the kid has some GTA 5 helicopter training, I guess. I don't know, some type of helicopter simulator. So next, but thankfully they find like a pretty clear land for him to land on. They get him down, and it seems all to me this is just wrapping up too nice. And I was like, yeah, you saw a police helicopter. You're under arrest. And the kid's like, what? What did you expect? Did you expect to get out of this? Like, did you really? Oh man. Bradford and Lopez are interrogating a guy who has gotten a piece of jewelry or an accessory that was a piece of an evidence from one of the crime scenes from a home invasion. And he's like, oh, I got that from a pawn shop, and I was going to buy it for my mother. And, I had to search for a lot of pawn shops to get this thing. And he's like, oh, where's the receipt? He's like, I don't believe in a receipt. I'm like, bruh. Good. Anyway. Eventually he's not spilling, but it just seems too, is this something's wrong? He's too squeaky clean to not have something, on him. So they contact his boss, who supposedly he was working some late night shifts to kind of give him the alibi. But once Bradford drops, like, we're considering that he might be a part of a murder, and the boss is like, oh nah, like I was like, if he was cheating on his wife or girlfriend or something, like I would be fine to help him. I'm like, well, first of all, for me, like, brah, nah, man, nah, you don't even get involved in that. Like, that's your problem on your time. You're not supposed to put company time on that. But no, it turns out, yeah. So he's like, well, he's paid me to put him on payroll, paid me to put him on the clock so that he can go and do certain things when he's not there, which I'm like, wait, you're the boss. You're paying him and he's paying you. So basically he's working for free. That makes no lick of sense, but fine. All right. So once they know that his alibi's fallen down, then they can really get enough suspicion to get a search warrant on him. So they flip his entire property. They don't find anything, and Bradford decides to make a raffle. Like, okay, for the first person who finds a piece of evidence, he gets a $100 gift card to somewhere, and everyone starts getting excited. And I was like, I'll be honest, if I was a police officer in that situation, I'd just be shit-talking everyone. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get that $100. I'm going to get that gift card. And then when the fucking dog gets it, because no one could find anything after another hour, and Bradford's like, we got to call in the big dogs. The big dog. So they find a loose compartment, and that's filled with money, guns, that sort of thing. So they get enough evidence against him to kind of put charges on him. And once the charges start being placed on him, he starts singing like a canary, admitting that, yeah, he's been part of a home invasion team, and they got another target tonight. And, so they immediately head out there. They get the getaway driver pretty quickly, but they find the people that are inside already holding the family hostage. So Bradford goes in, does his military training, takes them all out. Well, with the help of Lopez. So they get that handled, and that's all over, said and done already. Thank God. It's kind of quick and easy, to be honest with you. Meanwhile, with New Rook, his reality show pilot is still filming. Apparently he was doing scenes showcasing what his life was like before the whole murder trial, which I'm like, bro, like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, you don't have to reshoot scenes, just show pictures. Show a selfie or something. Like, I'm pretty sure that exists, but they were shooting that, so he's still maked up, and he's still like, he looks too shiny. His assistant from the set is kind of now following him, saying that, oh, I'm getting paid to just follow you, so don't worry about it. Like, I'm just here to help you out. And, obviously he can't allow that since he's on duty, so he can't have this extra third person tagging along in an official police matter. So Harper decides to use this as her advantage. It's like, okay, you're going to give me the most bougiest, most rarest tacos in the LA area. I think it's tacos. I'm not really sure. And he's like, I'm on it. So he goes up on it, and I believe they're doing calls at first, but eventually Harper feels a little sick, so they head over to the hospital so they can get her checked out. So while she's getting her ultrasound, getting all the tests in order, New Rook gets a call from Gray, saying that, hey, look, you're already in the area. Can you provide police detail for an inmate that just got into the hospital? He was part of a riot. He got a broken arm. He got a busted eye, so he's heading into surgery. Just make sure that he's going to be fine. Just watch him. Don't worry about that. So New Rook agrees, and he heads over to the room to kind of stay watch, and he starts having a conversation with this guy, and the guy's telling him the story that, like, yeah, I was falsely accused too. Like, the eyewitness testimony does not line up to me, but they still convicted me for the matter. And, he's been in jail already for many years, and all he wants to do is just to get a chance out. And, even the reason why he hasn't been able to do it earlier is that he just has no money to afford a lawyer to do the retrial stuff. Because I think it's once you're convicted, then you lose your ability to get a free console, because you get a free console, I believe, when you're just getting charged just at the start of it. But once you get sentenced, the retrial is like an additional cost, so that's not covered. So he hasn't been able to afford that. But because New Rook's been in his position before of being falsely accused and then eventually fighting his way to get out of jail and, getting a fresh new beginning, that's what that guy wants. And he's debating New Rook because he knows the position he's in. He knows the situation he's in. And, even when Harper hears of it, it's like, nah, man, you're just too nice. Like, if you attach yourself to this guy, you're only putting yourself involved in a group of people that always will say, I am innocent. I got to get out of here. Like, the evidence is out there. Find my innocence. And most of the times it doesn't exist, but some of the times it does exist. But the problem is that you get mostly highly doubtfuls that they don't even try. And, that kind of is the sucky thing about the system, that we don't get to give the people that need the chance a chance, because everyone else ruins it for them. So it does suck. But he is considering about it, but obviously he's not a lawyer, so he calls over Wesley to come in, since he's, you know, lawyered but not being able to work legally, so that's still a factor. Harper's boyfriend / the baby daddy shows up as well. Well, supposedly the baby daddy. I haven't forgotten. I have not forgotten. At first, it was about, you know, Harper, like, not telling him that, like, yeah, I'm going to the hospital to check on our baby. So he felt a little bit frustrated that, like, he didn't get invited to that moment. And also Harper's excuse is like, I didn't want you to worry. Like, it was probably nothing, and it was nothing. But they pushed that aside because Wesley's here to kind of, like, get some advice, get some, like, initial thoughts in, and see, like, if there is something worth it to give this guy a chance to maybe get him a lawyer that could give him the opportunity. So they have a conversation, they have a discussion, and at first glance, they're sold. Like, yeah, look, I know a couple of lawyers that could work this pro bono. They can help you out so much well than I could. And the guy's thankful that you listen, that you gave me a chance. But his credibility is thrown under the table again, because they got the surveillance footage from the prison's riot, the prison during the riot, and they found him actually participating very heavily in terms of actually causing an officer to get paralyzed. So that kind of does paint a lot of shadow of doubt on him. But of course, New Rook's very determined. Like, no, this, you know, he still deserves a chance. If there is a 1% chance that he could be innocent, then at least let him be innocent on that front and not be sentenced to something that he didn't get to do. So he's morally on that factor. Also, the assistant does manage to get the tacos for some reason, and then Harper changes her mind. It's like, you know what? I need you to find the rarest doll for me that I haven't seen since I was a kid. I was like, bro, I don't think he's going to find it, to be honest with you, but he does. He finds it not too long ahead, so I'm like, damn, I should hire him to go find stuff. But he doesn't get to work that much longer as errands or New Rook's chaperone or, you know, assistant, because he got his Hulu pilot got picked up. So I was like, Hulu does pilots? And okay, I mean, if you're gonna quit your entire job just for one season of a show that could not get a season 2, I'm like, okay, sure, go for it. I mean, that's your financial livelihood, so I'm not gonna criticize you there. So they leave it out there. But even after everything, even after the whole the questioning, New Rook's still going at it. He's still trying to find a lawyer that could represent the guy pro bono, because he still believes that, yeah, there's still a chance that he was wrongly accused, and at least get that fixed. Like, you know, like what he did with the officer, yeah, that he can't avoid. That's caught up. Okay, so I have no idea what happened to my camera. I thought I charged it, but I guess I didn't finish charging it enough. I guess I don't know, but we're gonna finish this up. So yeah, so they decide to keep going. He decides to keep fighting for that and keep that going. Meanwhile, back on no, I think that was it. Is that all the storylines? No, I cannot believe that was all the storylines. Was it? I'm gonna say, you know what? I think it was. I know we get like one big ass, you know, revolving end at the police station where, you know, everyone's meeting up. It's been a long day. They all have like stories to exchange, and they're ready for a drink, and no one's gonna pay for it, since kind of he was kind of the eclipse of this entire day. So, and I was like, oh, poor Nolan. It's not been his day. Where is this girl from, by the way? Oh yeah, she's off in Superman Lois Lane. I forgot. So they're off for a drink. Everyone's happy. Everyone except Harper, because she's pregnant, and also New Rook, because he hasn't earned his stripes yet. But so they're heading off, and Gray stops and is like, wait, hold on just a second. I'm approving overtime for y'all because Cupcake is on the loose. I was like, what kind of aggressive ass dog escapes from the freaking zoo? All right. I honestly felt like, was this going to be a cliffhanger for the next episode? I'm like, I highly doubt a freaking feral dog's going to be the premise for the... It isn't, but I'm just saying, like, they were so close. They were just absolutely so close, but they cut the episode there, just leaving it on a big, minor, hilarious cartoon cliffhanger that we will probably never get to see it. Hopefully, maybe we'll get as the opening stinger for when we come back. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, for me, this was just another hilarious episode. Definitely was a lighthearted episode of The Rookie to kind of end you off as we go on another almost a month-long hiatus, because that's kind of how the beginning of the year is. Like, we get some episodes to kick off the year, then we have to wait a little bit for it to come back. So that's just how the nature of the beast works. So there's nothing really much we can do there. Obviously, Nolan being close to the kid because of just similarities, sort of, was nice to see. Bradford, it wasn't a comedic heavy, thing. It was just mostly Bradford just showing off as always, just him being solo. Well, he had Diaz, but no, Lopez. I don't know why I keep confused with Diaz. I don't know. Is that the actress's name? I don't know. Something's wrong with my brain. I really don't know. And it was nice to actually get like some actual, New Rook has a very unique flavor to him, a very unique characteristic to him, that he wants to give people that chance, because almost no one gave him a chance. So that was really nice to see and hear. So I'm still very curious. It's just that we're not so consistent with him, because he pops in and out. Like we see him from an episode, then we don't see him for like a couple of episodes. Then it's just too inconsistent for me to like actually put a lot of solid foot on him. And I know he's I don't know if he's recurring or a series regular. I really don't know. I didn't really check him on that, but I do like him. I really do like him. There's a lot of elements there. And the Harper stuff, like, there has to be the question of the legitimacy of the kid. Like, the kid, there is a chance the kid might be her ex-husband's. We don't know yet. There's still that chance. And we should find out eventually, because, you can't really eventually, once the baby pops out, you're going to figure out the true ethnicity of this kid. So that's coming soon. But overall, like, I thought this was another good episode of The Rookie. Another happy, funny note to end off before we go on a whole month without it. So I'm going to give this episode 1.5 thumbs up. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of The Rookie? And down for conversation, as always, down below. I don't know why I sound like a radio talk show host. I really don't know. But I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Tube, reviewing every episode in the 4th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Tube, besides our Rookie episode reviews, we're doing Walker reviews, and we're doing Nancy Drew reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on the CW. So check them out on their local weekdays. But right now, with the schedule being all of us, just roll with it. Just roll with it there. If you don't care about The Rookie, we'll be back at the end of the month for a whole month off from The Rookie. 25 days. So I'll see y'all in 25 days for the next Rookie episode, which doesn't seem that long, but for me, it does. So it's going to be it's going to be a while. So, but since a lot of the stuff is currently on the flux, we have Doctor Who reviews coming out next week. We have a bunch of quick impressions coming out. We have a bunch of first impressions coming out. There's a lot of cool stuff for What's the Tube to come, as well as our brand new channel, The Collection Compass. Go check that out. I think the page is launched already, so go check them out right there. But again, this has been Joe from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Please ring that bell for notifications when our next episode review is live. Please also like, favorite, share this review if you want to. Please also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates for the channel. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. I'll see you all at the very end of this month. But until then, peace out.